What's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, and I'm going to talk about the proper steps to take to learn guitar as quickly as possible, with the least discouragement as possible, right? Because there's so much information out there that it's sometimes nice to have someone tell you from their own experience as learning guitar, but also teaching guitar, the quickest way to play and have fun with it, so you're not learning the wrong things first. So I'm going to zoom in and show you what I'm talking about. All of these topics can be studied further. I have a website, martymusic.com, with a bunch of courses, beginner guitar, beginner acoustic, beginner electric. But here are the things that I think you should start with when learning the guitar. Here we go. All right, so obviously I have thousands of guitar lessons on the internet. I have courses, etc. So this is more an outline on the direction to go if you want to learn guitar. First, you have the saying, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. E-A-D-G-B-E to tune your guitar. I have a little tuner right here, helps you to get the guitar in tune. From there, there's a little combination of things that you should do first, because you want to just start having the guitar feel a little less foreign in your hands, I recommend using a pick, a light, thin pick to start with. This one's a heavy pick, and that just has to do with the flimsiness. A light pick or an extra light pick is a really good starting point, but I do recommend starting with a pick right off the bat. I next would say to learn some fun, recognizable little melodies along the E string, this lowest, thickest string here. And what that does is it forces you to start playing the guitar, and you also are developing your ear by playing little recognizable things. The little ones that I'm going to show you, it's not exactly how the original of that melody or song goes, but that's not the point yet. The point is to get you playing the guitar and immediately playing something fun and recognizable, so you have something to do when you first pick it up as a beginner. The first classic one is not actually played in this spot, but you might recognize it. And so that's just all along the E string. If you're a super beginner, you could just use one finger, maybe your pointer, index finger, and you've got these metal frets here, and the spaces in between is where you're going to put your finger down, and it feels a little foreign at first to press it down hard enough, but this would be fret 1, and that means not on the metal piece, but right behind it. So that's fret 2. And try and use the tip of your finger. So fret 3, fret 4, fret 5, and fret 6. The dots are little marker points, so you starts to help you memorize what you're doing and where you're going with it. So this is the one we're going to do right now. O, meaning open. And then the 3rd fret, the 5th fret. So O, 3, 5, O, 3, 6, 5. Then you go O, 3, 5, 3, O. And so that's a fun little melody right off the bat. O, 3, 5, O, 3, 6, 5. O, 3, 5, 3, O. Here's another one. O, 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 3, O, 5, 5, 3, O, 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 3, O, 5, 5, 3, O, 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 3, O, 5, 5, 3, O. And eventually you can use more than one finger and you start to get a little vibe going. It's a little blues thing. 005030. 005030. So it's seriously just numbers and the frets, and that gets you going. You can look up Seven Nation Army. Also, I have a whole video that's just easy one-string riffs that goes through a bunch of these. But that's the very first thing you should do. It's fun. It's really the perfect amount of challenge. I've noticed beginners sometimes pick out some, song that's really not appropriate for them to learn at that moment. Because it's going to be too challenging. But if you learn little things like this, those songs become easier to play if you build it up to the right level. So like Seven Nation Army. Once again, as a beginner, you can do it all along the E string, right? There's a Green Day song, is it Brain Stew? Well, it just goes along the string. So there's lots of really fun, recognizable things you can do on one string. Iron Man by Black Sabbath, Iron Man by Black Sabbath. 7, 10, 10, 12, 12. And so right off the bat, there's a bunch of things that you just use the same level of technique. It's just on the one string. It's fun, recognizable, gets you playing the guitar. All right, so one aspect is getting the guitar in tune, getting your fingers along the frets, using a pick, playing some fun single note melodies. But then in combination with that, you want to also start learning some chords, which is where you put a little group of notes together and you strum the guitar. The first chord I usually teach a beginner is called E minor, and that would be the second fret of this A string. Remember, Eddie ate dynamite. So the A string, second fret. There's two different ways to voice it. Two different sets of fingers you can use. For right now, we're going to do index finger and middle finger. And so that's second fret A, right next to it, second fret D. And with the pick, you strum the whole guitar. Try not to, use the very tips of your fingers with a little bit of an arch to it so they're not blocking the open strings with your hand. Try and hear each note ring out. And then just strum it naturally. Not everyone is born with the same natural rhythm, but we want to just hear that the chord rings out. Has kind of that dramatic, sad sound to it. It's a minor chord. And what's great is each chord you learn relates to making another chord easier to learn. So check it out. If you take that shape and you just scoot it over to that second fret D and second fret G, and try and avoid that thickest string when you strum it now. That's called A suspended 2 or A sus 2. And it goes with the E minor. And so another little exercise, those are the first two chords to learn because it's basically 2 for 1. You don't have to learn a new shape. But another little move you're going to want to do is from that E minor chord, you're going to go to what's kind of like a cheating version of what's called G major. The full G major looks like this. A little challenging at first for a beginner. So first, as a beginner, what you want to start with is play this E minor, and then take your middle finger off and go to the 3rd fret of this E string, and now you have this little shape here. And if you can avoid strumming that high E, so you just kind of go for the bulk, thick strings, either of those chords sound good together in a progression. In fact, there's even a Nirvana. So to recap, we have single note riff ideas. All that kind of stuff. It's fun. Then, the E minor chord, which is the first chord of Wonderwall, for instance, and so many others. Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day, About a Girl by Nirvana, a million others. Then you scoot it over and you have A sus2. But then from there, if you can get your third finger behind the other two fingers and go to that second fret B string, now you have a whole another new chord, A major. And when we were messing with that cheating version of G, eventually you try and get your third finger on that third fret of that high E string. And now you have another chord that's used in a million songs. From there, as you get those going, then I would recommend a D major chord, which is probably the most popular guitar chord. So that's called D major. And that's second fret G, second fret high E, and then the third finger on the third fret of the B string. You start the chord with the D string there. This is already now going beyond your very first guitar lesson, but I'm just showing you where to go from there. So if you had started to practice those chords, take two at a time, and as you're watching a movie or TV or whatever, you can just, even without strumming, start moving those shapes and like really look at your hand to see where the fingers are moving to go to the other chord. There's other chords to learn that you wouldn't want to do yet, but it's the next step would be C major, A minor, E major, F major, D minor. And when you get those down, then you would just know that you should learn C, A, G, E major, or E. When you just say the letter, that means a major chord, like the happy version. And when you say minor, that means the sad version. So you don't have to say major when you say a C chord. C, A, E, G, and D. And then the three minor open chord shapes, E minor, or this way, A minor, and D minor. And you'll see that there's millions of songs that just use those chords. So then sometimes learn some single note melodies that are classic, and then other times just look for beginner acoustic songs, and you'll see a bunch of songs that are made up with those basic open chords, and that's how you start. There's a lot of other places to go. You can learn power chords. So So those are like rock chords usually on an electric guitar. Then you also have blues. But you want to do the order that I explained in this video before you start learning what are called scales. That would be a little bit later, but start with those single note melodies and then the first open beginner chords, and then learn some easy acoustic songs, and you'll be off and running, playing guitar. All right, I hope you guys dug that. Remember, my website, martymusic.com, I've got beginner courses over there that can help you learn step by step. And also all these topics I go deeper into in YouTube videos as well. So there's a lot of info out there, but if you need direction, review this video again, because these are the steps I think you should take to, get playing and having fun as quickly as possible. So thanks for supporting, and hope to see you guys again. Take care.